Welcome back to the Movie Cart channel. It's our maiden voyage onto the high seas. Luke and I are your captains today, and you viewers are our seamen and women. If it's not obvious, we are watching and discussing Jaws today. Pretty simple plot. Most people know the story. Big shark, big problem in small town. Small town hires 3 men to kill the big shark. Without further ado, Luke, swing the jib. What did you pick up on your most recent rewatch of this movie? 50th anniversary, by the way.
I really love Jaws, the part of the movie that I feel is about Jaws. There's Brody, there's Richard Dreyfuss's character that is escaping me, and there's the folksy sailor man. When the movie is about those three people and the one shark, it might be the most perfect movie of all time. When it's about Brody's wife and the mayor, I'll let you lead on that. But yeah, when when those three men are fighting the shark, it might be the single most exhilarating summer blockbuster or whatever of all time.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I kind of disagree, to be honest. I love all the character dynamics. I feel like the mayor goes into the Hall of Fame of scumbags alongside Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka. Just the worst man alive. Just ignoring children getting eaten alive by sharks. Like, there's no issue here. But I don't know. I love the character moments and the kind of the calm before the storm in a sense.
My only problem is he doesn't have a second gear. And even into Jaws 2, which we're not going to talk about because the sequels are their own problem. But this guy, he allows so many casualties that are clearly Shark. I don't know. I just feel like he needs to be more sinister and less incompetent because his only
Yeah,
move is to say, no.
I feel like it's almost like he's tricking himself into believing he's such a kind of scummy politician. He can almost convince himself, like, no, they caught that other shark that's clearly too small to be the
Yeah.
one, but nah, it's fine. We're good. Beach 4th of July is back, baby, and the economy's gonna be booming.
How awesome did that non-Jaws silicone shark look?
It really holds up well. And like you said, like the use of the actual shark footage is
Yeah.
masterfully kind of blended in.
I also think it's sold pretty well throughout the film that Jaws is not just a shark. He's a man killer. And so I think the fact that he looks a little more like a dinosaur than a natural aquatic sea creature, I think that's fine. That doesn't bother me a lot.
No, he's it's genuinely a terrifying creature. I mean, you don't truly see him until an hour into the movie in the pond scene where he eats that man that's by Brody's sons.
Mhm.
And the first shot where you just see him, his boat, tips over and he falls in, and you just barely see it like under the water. And that first shot of its like mouth coming out is horrifying, and that looks totally real. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
it's truly disturbing, and before that, they just use, kind of a fear effect of what you don't see, like when the 2 men are trying to capture it on the dock, and it drags them out into the sea, and then all you see, like, is the dock slowly turn back towards them and start going back through the water. It's just geniusly kept hidden until the latter half of the film.
Do you 100% buy the idea that the shark wouldn't work and that's the only reason Spielberg and co chose not to show it throughout the film?
Actually, I was watching, behind the scenes, and they had 3 or 4 sharks. Like, one was just for shooting it on the left side, one was shooting it for the right side, and one was shooting it for, like, just going straight up. And it truly was they tested all of them in fresh water tanks, and they worked totally fine. And it seems obvious to me, but I guess hindsight's 2020, that when they put them in the actual ocean where they filmed the movie, the salt water just fucked them up, like, immediately. So I think it truly was, like, a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that's the story, but I do feel like the mythology's taken out.
Yeah, that could be.
Like, do you really think there's a version of this movie where Jaws is just Michael Myers?
I don't know. I mean, it definitely lends to the fear element, and
That is
it's
Jaws 2, which is an awesome movie, but yeah, I absolutely love the use of the actual animatronic, but I don't I don't foresee a timeline where it was supposed to be seen, 10, 15 times.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just up for speculation at that point, but yeah, I think it definitely lends itself to the movie way more. I mean, that just builds the suspense up until where you actually or the actual shot where you see the shark itself, and then it leads up to the last hour of the movie where Quint, Brody, and Hooper is the marine biologist, Richard Dreyfuss character, they're just facing off against this thing for the last hour of the movie, and I agree. I mean, from then on out, it's just an absolute roller coaster ride.
No, that when those 3 guys take over, specifically from when they sing that, like, old sailor song, which is easily one of my favorite scenes of the movie, the "Show me the way to go." I think that's incredible. From that moment on, it's like, "Strap in. It's time to go." I think the barrel plan that they all have is a little convoluted, but it truly doesn't matter. It's really, really awesome.
I think they continue to underestimate it. I think that they're in over their head. I mean, Quint is so cocky from the jump. He's like, "I'll get this bird for you for the right price. Like, I'll just go alone."
Yeah.
And he's totally in over his head. Hooper doesn't necessarily know exactly. I mean, he's a professional in the field, but this is an unprecedented size of a great white shark. And of
There's
course, Brody's afraid of water in general.
It's not their fault that this shark has mythical powers. I think I'll cut him a little slack.
Yeah, but I think it's just the I mean, you're right. It's not like they would expect it to be as harrowing as it turns out to be, but when they do get out there, they say, "That's a 25-foot shark, 3 tons."
Yeah.
Like, it is a beast.
How did you feel about Brody's wife? Just
I like her. I think she's good. She's, the only character in all 4 Jaws movies, and as the movies progress, she gets more and more screen time, which starts to be less good, but I don't know. I really bought the relationship in the film as husband and wife. Do you disagree?
not necessarily in this film. However, there's one moment, the moment where their young son is aboard a boat and she is very okay with him being in the water and then sees a photo of a shark and is instantly not okay with him being in the water. That is one of the most inexplicable human moments in any monster movie. Where it's like, you didn't know what a shark looked like? Like, this moment where you see an image of a shark in a book, this is what does it for you, not the several mutilated teens.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think you have to remember we're watching this for probably, the umpteenth time. But to all these other people, they just know there's been a shark attack and someone has died. But no one has any clue that this is the biggest monstrosity to ever exist. Like for all she thought, it was probably just, I don't know, 7 feet long or something swimming around, but it's truly this leviathan that no one, I think, truly understands until really the climax of the movie.
And as long as we're on human corner, I will say the mayor who gets reelected inexplicably for Jaws 2, he's so remarkably one note in the sense that it's like, we need tourists, bring them in. And like one person dies and he never changes his tune. And by an hour into the movie, grows a little tiresome, a little tedious.
Well, he finally has a change of heart when he realized he endangered his own child. But I mean, you watched Mrs. Kintner come up to Brody and slap him in the face for letting her son die, and it's totally your fault, and you're still just like, we're gonna keep the beaches open
Yeah.
still. Yeah, he's a terrible person. I mean, it's crazy.
No idea why that woman was so mad at Brody. But
Well, I mean, in her eyes, I guess it's his responsibility. He was going to do it. He was barred from politics, which she had no clue. But yeah, I mean, when he says what she said isn't true, it's not your fault to Brody. If I were Brody, I would look at him and be like, I know, it's your
yeah,
fault.
no kidding. Yeah. I think it's very brave of this movie. They killed a child and a dog. But I watched this after watching it by myself a couple nights ago. I did watch it with some friends, and through a 2025 lens, the idea that you're killing a toddler and a dog, I mean, that's pretty shocking and kind of awesome.
You know what the most shocking part is? This movie's rated PG. How insane is that?
I had no idea. That's awesome.
It came out before PG-13 existed, and so it was either PG or R. So I guess they decided it was closer to PG than R, which I don't know how. There's nudity, there's children dying, there's a copious amount of blood.
People bitten in half.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Do you have any recollection or idea of when the captain of the ship, what was his?
Quint,
Yeah, Quinn. Do you have any idea of when he was introduced into the movie? About an hour and 12 minutes into the movie. It's really far.
really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
lot of Brody and his wife, which is so weird because in the novel, I don't know if you've ever read it, but one of the big subplots is that the Richard Dreyfuss character sleeps with Brody's wife, which I think it was smart to cut that out. However, like without that, the human again, like I feel like I've been the negative Nancy of the video so far, but I really think the human element of this movie lacks any dramatic element.
I don't know. I know that that happens in the book, and like the mafia is kind of forcing the mayor to keep the beaches open, and the idea when they were writing the screenplay for the movie, they wanted to kind of cut all that out and streamline it to an adventure movie, which I think they did successfully.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
don't know. I really enjoy all the scenes with the characters. I mean, Brody and his wife, I really don't think it takes up too much of the movie because a lot of time with those two, Hooper is there as well, like the dinner scene. And Richard Dreyfuss is just he's such a great presence in this movie. He's just always quick-witted, and even when he comes over for dinner, he just immediately goes, "Anyone eating this?" and just takes Brody's plate of food and starts chowing down. But I don't know, I think that I just really love the movie. To me, there's not really any slow moments. I guess it just resonates with me a bit
Yeah.
more, I suppose.
Do you think Hooper is likable? Like, do you think Hooper's a good hang?
I think that he probably would be, but he and Quint just couldn't be further
Yeah.
apart from one another, so it kind of brings out the annoyance and frustration in both of them and just kind of ratchets up everyone's mood. But also like he's the one guy that's in town that's saying, "Hey, there's a huge problem and you guys are all ignoring it and I feel like I'm crazy."
Yeah.
So I could understand like why he might come off as a little annoying or feel like you would not want to talk to the dude.
There is a moment very late in the movie where Hooper and Brody are fighting the shark, and he comes up, Richard Dreyfuss, from underneath the water and goes, "Oh, boys." And it might be the single greatest moment in the history of movies. I might have rewound it 15 times last night.
Yeah, no, his line delivery is incredible. I think that Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss on set, like, actually kind of despised one another, so it really lent to their performances because I think Shaw was a very powerful personality, and I think he struggled with alcoholism, so he was just kind of a menace to Dreyfuss a lot, and they would just butt heads, and I think it was honestly kind of for the best as far as the movie's concerned because it really translates well to their dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. The nerd versus seaman, for lack of a better term, like that's easily to me the most interesting relationship of the movie.
Yeah, yeah, because it's this well-educated, well-off, has all the top-notch, cutting-edge technology in this field versus just the blue collar,
Yeah.
like, thinks he knows everything because he has the most experience.
He's very, very competent, quick in his abilities. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's not until the boat, I mean, is practically sinking where he just looks at Hooper and goes, "What all can this stuff you brought do?" It's like, yeah, you might wanted to ask that about a day ago. Yeah, and I think that I mean, You're right. The last hour is truly incredible. Just as soon as they're on the sea, just the tension is so high because they never really once they engage with the shark, there's only one lull when they're not fighting it actively, and it's not a lull in the sense that it's a boring scene because it's the USS Indianapolis scene, which is just maybe the best monologue in a movie I've ever seen. I mean,
Wait,
Robert Shaw nails that performance.
and the song I alluded to earlier, when they start singing their sea shanty, which to me is like one of the more underrated, iconic bits of the movie. The like, "Show me the way to go home."
It goes from the scar story from each person, which is another great this is just classic Steven Spielberg. Like, you see Brody just kinda lift up his shirt from the waist, and he clearly has a gunshot wound of some
Yeah,
kind, and just kinda slowly puts his shirt back down and decides not to say anything. And it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it just adds to the character's depth.
I really like Brody, and I think he's the right amount of complicated. He's afraid of water, like Tommy from Rugrats.
Pretty much the same person.
Yeah. He's seemingly overprotective, seemingly, like, overly pedantic and idiosyncratic. The only issue is he's right about literally everything. So, all of those little quirks about his personality, the fact that he's overprotective, the fact that he is afraid of water, everything is confirmed. So everyone who challenged him ultimately was wrong. And I mean, that I suppose that's interesting, but I think that's the root of my issue with the human aspect of the movie is that Brody is constantly right and everyone else is foolish for not believing him. But I also think that that stems from my knowledge of Jaws 2 and Jaws 3D.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Brody's such an interesting character because, and pun intended, he's a fish out of water from the jump. I mean, he is a guy that lived in New York that now lives in this beach town instead. He's kind of a foreigner in that sense. Like, he doesn't necessarily fit in. He's afraid of the water. And to him, everything's crystal clear. Like, some poor girl was eaten by a shark. Seems obvious to me we close the beaches, but this town relies heavily on the 4th of July in the summer to, run in general. And it becomes this kind of convoluted mess where he gets wrapped up in it. It's almost like the first half's like this investigation sort of film, and then it just kind of pivots into the real exciting high stakes adventure on the sea.
How about the real star of the movie?
John Williams.
Are we going to get to that? Do you want me to save it or?
No, no, no. Let's talk Johnny.
Do you think this movie would exist in the American canon even a little bit without John Williams?
I mean, I think that it's a huge component, and it's the thing that everyone remembers from the movie. If you ask someone if they've seen Jaws, they'll probably start humming the music
Yeah.
before they say anything about the shark. But I like your point in that it is so ingrained in the DNA and legacy of the movie that you truly can't think of what this movie would be without it.
I don't think because we don't see the shark for so long, I don't even think the first hour would be remotely scary. It might be interesting, but the teen death at the beginning, the children when they're all swimming and the parents running in, I don't think there's any dramatic tension if a different song is playing.
You're right. I mean, his score is the shark for the first half of the movie.
Absolutely.
Like, it serves that purpose. Like, you don't see anything. All you do is hear and see a mysterious perspective from the ocean.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's really all they give you, and it just instills this great fear in the viewer.
Yeah, you get a single fin and the music, and it's incredible. And the run John Williams was on at this point in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, give me a break.
This guy's resume is insanity. I mean, he did this, he did Star Wars right after,
Mhm.
he did Superman, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park. I mean, it's insane. Like,
Almost inappropriate.
I mean, he truly is the greatest in his field for sure. I mean, he's an absolute legend. Still doing music. I think he
Mhm.
retires like once every 3 years and then just comes back because he's addicted to the grind.
I mean, who doesn't?
So
Real,
true.
real Tom Brady situation.
You know, the theme when he played it for Steven Spielberg, the theme was so simple because he only used 2 keys on the piano, and apparently he was infamous for, like, fucking with people, that Spielberg started laughing because he didn't believe that was a real thing, and he'd said, "No, I'm serious, that's the music," and he played it again, and then Spielberg realized, like, Oh, I understand.
It just I don't think Jaws is Jaws without that song.
No, I think you're right. I
They
think
like
you're
Michael
totally right.
Myers isn't Michael Myers without the Halloween song, and Jurassic Park isn't Jurassic Park. I mean, it truly is one of the quintessential film scores of all time. I don't know. I really think this could have just been a poorly done adaptation of a shark book. I I I think it's impossible to overstate how weird it is that this movie was the cultural phenomenon that it was, especially because I mean it's the first ever summer blockbuster. This has never happened before.
Yeah, they released it in an unprecedented amount of theaters at once. I believe it was like 400, and the usual number, I wanna say, was like 70 or 80 across the country. So everyone went and saw it at the same time. It truly you're right, it truly did create the summer blockbuster, and it's crazy how successful the film is because the production was just hell, apparently.
Oh yeah.
The shark never worked. They were shooting on the actual sea, which, I mean, now you can't imagine this movie anywhere else. Like, imagine if it was just in a, like, big water tank, like, but how it traditionally would be. But, yeah, everything about it just it's a timeless movie. I just you can watch this in another 25 years, and I think it still holds up. It's just so well done.
Jaws is good. Revolutionary thoughts.
That's a hot take.
No,
Jaws, pretty good movie.
not quite Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's a it lost, Best Picture to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which fair, but it's definitely gonna have a longer legacy, that's for sure. Alright, Luke, this week I have some jaw-dropping facts for you. Get it?
Sounds about right. Yeah, I do. I do.
Like the movie's title.
It is Jaws.
Alright, number 1. All the Jaws mechanical sharks were named Bruce, after Steven Spielberg's lawyer, because lawyers are sharks. And the shark in Finding Nemo is named Bruce because of that. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I thought there was gonna be like a turn.
No, that was it. These are actual facts this time. This is a good one, though. You'll like this one. So, the original director attached to the project was Dick Richards. Pretty crazy name. Dick Dix, essentially. Was considered, he was considered for the movie, but in meetings with the producers, he kept referring to Jaws as the whale. And finally, they were like, dude, it's not a whale movie. So they dropped him.
Did he think it was Moby Dick?
I don't know. It's kind of inexplicable. Like, they hired him, he was all about it, and he just apparently kept going on about this whale movie and how he's always wanted to make a whale movie. And finally, they were like, it's not a whale movie. So they just fired him, and then they got Steven Spielberg to replace him.
And Spielberg was almost dropped, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, the production was so hellish that, I mean, he was so fearful that people on the set were gonna fuck with him on the last day of shooting, he didn't show up. And then it became a tradition for every Steven Spielberg movie, he's never there on the last day of shooting. But yeah, I think there was some real, like, doubts, and I mean, it even got leaked into the press about, like, the shoot went for like 170 days or something ridiculous. It's supposed to be like 80. Like, it was a nightmarish shoot. All right, last but definitely not least. The cage scene where Hooper goes in to confront Jaws and try and poison him. In the book, as you know, he dies in that scene. But they captured real footage in Australia with a real great white getting trapped in a miniaturized cage to scale it up properly. And it was such incredible footage, they didn't want to not use it. So they just rewrote the script for him to survive so they could justify the empty cage being in the movie.
Do you like that Hooper survived?
Yeah, I do. I think that it lends itself to a happy ending where the two of them swim off, but Quint doesn't make it. So that in that regard, it's sad, and they don't all make it back. But I like the kind of that the two people that spearheaded the whole story from the jump end up making it out.
Do you think if the studio had known that Richard Dreyfuss was not going to return to be Hooper unless he got to sleep with Brody's wife in the movie, as he did in the book, do you think they would have let his character survive?
That's a good question. Was that a real caveat he had for returning to the sequel?
Absolutely. He was so upset that he did not get the extramarital affair from the book that he did not return for the sequel.
I don't know, they maybe would have just killed him off, I suppose, but that's very funny. The documentary I was watching, they talk about how there's so many young women on the beach where they were shooting in Martha's Vineyard, and it just Richard Dreyfuss for 5 minutes just goes on about how being a famous actor, he just had the most sex in his life he's ever had. So that doesn't surprise me. It kinda seemed like a horn dog.
He was our age,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, so was Spielberg.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Maybe we won't be professional athletes or incredible directors. All right, before we wrap this video up, let's just touch briefly on kind of the legacy of Jaws since it's its 50th anniversary. Luke, something I looked up, I was very curious to see, was how many shark movies there were before and after Jaws. And before, there were like notably 4 or 5 shark movies. After Jaws, there's been estimated to be 180 movies. And if you divide that by 50 years, it's 3.6 shark movies per year.
I'm speechless. Are any of them good? Deep Blue Sea starring Samuel L. Jackson?
I mean, probably like the problem is Jaws was just such a masterpiece. It perfected what it was trying to do so well that everything else after it is just redundant and nothing what like there's a reason it's never tried no one's tried to remake it. Like it's impossible.
Do you think we have untapped sea life?
As in like creatures we know of or like that we'll discover a new sea monster that we can make a movie about.
No, could there be a great octopus movie? I mean, Piranha now, right? That's
Yeah,
scary.
I mean, there's been like there's the name of the boat in Jaws is the Orca, and there was like a killer orca movie that came out a year or 2 later. I don't think it was good, but I think that this movie, once it came out, I mean, even the author of the book, his next 2 books, I think were about a giant squid and a giant whale, I'm pretty sure. Like he even stuck to like giant sea creatures. It just nothing. I don't think there's nothing more primal, like, as far as fear goes in about the ocean than a shark. Nothing beats it.
Sharks are scary.
Alright, well, I think that does it for our Jaws video. Thanks for tuning in as always. Luke, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Alright, well, like, subscribe, comment. What's your favorite part of Jaws? Do you like the sequels? They're not great, but, to each their own.
Jaws 4 is okay.
Yeah, the revenge. He roars under the water.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. Alright, Luke, here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Cheers.